That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
You guys will see the story here. I don't really have to explain it. We're going to begin the game, though. So I wanted to play the original before I played the new one. Is there not dialogue here? Are you serious?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We're not going to listen to the man.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I don't care.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So he said on his left, so I'm going to go to the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Or maybe I'm not going to listen to you. This is what this game is. You can listen to the narrator, or you can pity him.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Yes, it's amazing.
Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
That's very great pain. Anyways, let's get the hell out of here. I want coffee.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
What if I don't do that? Haha, fuck you.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I walked through the blue door.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
The blue door.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
It's one of my favorite things.
There's nothing here.
It's
I haven't even
nothingness.
finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see?
Give me free will.
Trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
Story and free
Let me take
will.
a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
What if I don't? Oh, damn it. I didn't actually not want to do it.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Yes, I like having more choices.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from.
You can't jump, I just got that achievement.
I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one.
Let me out. I want to leave orange room. Me like orange room.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
How do I feel about this? I feel happy about this. I like narrator.
I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Hey, don't let the baby
crawls
die.
left towards danger.
Hey,
you
fire.
click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
Oh god,
Be
that'd
sure to
actually
keep
be
notes on your
hilarious if
experience.
there's something after you play it for 4 hours. What if I want to let baby die? What happened? Let the cardboard cutout baby die. Goodbye to the baby. I saved it. Now time to let it die. I'm just torturing this baby by this point. Not even letting it die, I'm just torturing it. No, I'm actually gonna let it die. Goodbye, baby.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not
Killing
even
baby
trying.
simulator.
I'm out. I'm done. It's over.
I don't know.
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Oh wait, I remember this. I remember what happens here. This is a really...
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Minecraft!
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
Let me jump.
Will it ever be enough?
I can't
Well, I'll
jump.
say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Where?
This will go here.
Are you seriously
go
making a
here,
dirt house?
And then...
How bad are you?
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes,
Oh,
it's complete.
You blacked
made
me
this,
out.
Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
give me the ability to
Ah,
jump and I
but
will
you've
make
only
something
seen it
10
from the
times better than
outside.
that.
You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
No, don't go
Diamond
through that stage
everything.
of building.
Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
We're going mining then. I mean, this is Minecraft after all. Oh, I can't break through this tree leaf or I could actually go do other stuff over here.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
No. Oh, there's a little cave thing there, but that just
no,
has
no,
coal
no,
in it.
No, this is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear.
No.
Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant.
Oh,
this
God.
Would do it all.
This is
1 out
dark.
of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Really? You just have bad taste, narrator. Are we playing Portal?
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You
This isn't
trapped
even
in
a
glass
Valve
box with
game.
No way out, listening to me talk. Oh,
This
it's
game isn't a
inspired.
Valve game.
I
Why
couldn't
are
have
they
done any
allowed to
better
Portal?
myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
It's Portal. I know this. I know this one.
Ooh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Time to play. Portal.
Genius.
There's actually a way to softlock your self in one of the first
No,
few
actually,
rooms.
You know what? I think that's plenty.
Oh, come
I
on.
really don't care much to see you stumble through any...
Oh god. Okay, well there I go. I don't think of... Oh, okay. And I die. I have no idea where I am. Hey, light. Light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, would you look at that? Can we go in there? That looks fun. Somebody's messaging somebody. And goodbye, light. Now it's a
I
horror
wonder
game.
what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
Will it be very soon?
Wait.
Because we've been sitting in the void for 30 minutes. Oh, so that's an ending. We could go, like, listen to him this
When
time.
Stanley came
I
to
could
a
try
set
that.
of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
Tips
up
for
to
not
his
getting
boss's
fired.
office,
Talk
hoping
less.
he might find an answer
Oh, I didn't
there.
even get to read it. Broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
What if I stay in the broom closet?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What if I go down the stairs?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment.
This is
for
a
no
loop.
reason at all. None of it
Okay,
made
now
any
it's not.
logical
This
sense.
is new room.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't
Looping
he see his
scenery.
feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at
Insanity
last,
ending.
He came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
I'm asleep.
I'm dreaming!
Haha.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then
We are
he
flying.
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was
called your
describing itself
conscience.
being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was
No.
not a dream.
Can't
How
walk
could it be?
backwards.
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Wait a minute, Stanley has a wife?
My life is normal.
I don't remember
I
that.
am normal. Everything will be fine.
Will everything be fine, or will we be just stuck here?
Okay.
Because I don't think we're leaving. I think we're gonna be stuck here. And then he opened his eyes, and he's still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Everything goes black.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Who the fuck is Mariella?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And
My
although she would soon
God.
turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay, that's another ending. Okay, we're actually
Just
going to
a
listen
step
to him
through
this
this door,
time.
Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Hello, boss. Nice computer you got there, boss.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code. by
Totally
sheer luck.
random.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, hello, in weird passageway. That doesn't look dangerous at all. Okay, we're down the elevator.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Yep, this looks like Portal
Stanley
2.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape or mind control facility. Let's go to mind control facility. Like I said, we're actually going to listen to him this time. Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Holy hell,
What
that's
horrible
a
secret
hell of an
did this
electric
place
bill.
hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fired.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many
There's nobody
individuals
there.
reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Person. It has like
This
a person in
mind
a box.
control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Yes. That is a possibility.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own
Pirate.
life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Maybe.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
There are a lot of controls here.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Off or on, I say off. We are listening to the narrator.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
We killed it. We killed the machine.
Even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered.
Sunlight. Hey, there's a bird.
Knowledge or even
hello,
power
other
that
birds.
he had been seeking.
And trees. I can't see down here, so I don't
Perhaps
walk
his
down
goal
here yet.
had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps
I don't
the
think I
only
can
thing worth
go.
knowing.
Yeah, it was a
Stanley
wall. That was
stepped
what I was
through
seeing.
the open door.
Or is it another trick?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy. Pin number. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Screw you, narrator. Just let me go on, please. Let me go. I want to go. I want to get rid of this wall and leave. Okay, I'm ready
Feeling
to go.
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
We just don't fall through that? Okay, that makes sense. And then it did.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted?
Loading mind control systems. Oh, God.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
Oh, fantastic.
In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape
Holy
it to
hell.
your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments.
Let's try doing the numbers again, because I found where 3
talk
is.
about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
What
I
happened to them?
erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn.
Okay,
to
that
a
did
crisp.
nothing. Let's try going through
I have to
this
say
door
though,
that I just
this
noticed
version
was
of
open a
events has
second
been
ago.
rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever
I
I
couldn't
come
go
up
through
with
the
on
door.
the next
Close
go
it.
around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room.
Yeah.
These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy.
Did nothing.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Oh,
30
damn.
seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
We die ending, I guess. I hear a phone.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
That's kind of contradictive. Narrator isn't talking this time, so I'm just gonna immediately put it in, even if he plays the thing, like the music
Okay, I
for a
think we
second,
all know
it'll
the
be
drill by
fine.
now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Accidentally hit the wrong one.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, I didn't. Not in this world.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't care. It's better than what happened in there.
The door
Literally
behind him was not
did a
shut.
nuke.
Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Holy hell. Was not lying, I just... Wee bonk. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows, maybe we have the boots that, the main character in Portal was wearing. I can't remember her name right now.
As the machine whirred into motion and and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise,
Oh, God.
he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley
wanna
can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Hello, crusher thing. Please don't kill me. You didn't kill me.
Farewell,
Thank you.
Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
But that didn't happen.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Stanley's computer. Office layout. The 2 doors. No, it's not the boss's room. 1, 2, and 3. None of them open. Selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. An early version of the maintenance room. From James, love the game. Oh, it's switching. Narrator emails. Stanley's office. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second in March 2012, and the third in February 2013. So it went from a very small office, well, very small desk, to a very big desk. Countdown room, an early version of the countdown room. Freedom ending, this is freedom ending as it existed in beta. Countdown desk, one of the desks from an early version of the countdown ending. Freedom ending, this was the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Boss's office, screens from the development of the boss's office. Kevin Brighting, oh my god, I can't speak. The voice of the narrator recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. There are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game. Underground, an early version of the underground portion of the game. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down, with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the 2 endings together instead.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it.
Nope.
Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you.
Let me jump
all
off.
this time.
Whoa.
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Hey guys, it's a generator.
I'm asking for her.
This is legitimately just the same generator in Left 4 Dead. Is this a Valve game? I need to double check this, alright? Yeah, I don't think this is a Valve game. But there are so many things that make me think that it is.
To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who? Who's she? Who's been waiting?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another.
I always hated and
pick up
loved
the
these
phone.
type of phones.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance,
I
but
didn't
with
pick
hope.
up the phone.
Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
No.
Please observe this helpful instructional video.
No, let me out.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person.
Not
But
learning.
if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
A what? My goodness, it's 4:30.
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process.
What the fuck? I agree,
Most
Blake.
medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day.
I'm just trying
Do
to
you
eat a
make
piece of
more
ice.
than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant. And the
Kiss
feeling should
alligator?
subside.
What?
At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please. Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before
Wait a minute,
the
we're going down here
contradiction
now.
gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go over there. We were actually going back to where we started.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be
So what the
home
fuck happened?
free
I
in
don't
the
know.
real world.
It's hard to explain. I see you were doing
Now
the
remember,
incorrect
all you
ending.
need to do is behave
I guess
exactly as
so. I'm
Stanley
just
would.
trying to get all the
That
endings.
means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
My eyes.
All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What if I open this door? Oh, I can't. I don't want to.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed
How
my
did I
work.
do this?
Why? For what?
What do you mean?
What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the
Haha,
game
let me
undone?
just
Left here
crash
like so
the
much
roof. How
garbage?
did I
Well,
do that?
It's worthless.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
what am I
can't jump.
supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge.
Hey, it's the red
I've to live
door.
with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut
Everything
the
is
game down
okay.
entirely, to willingly destroy all of my work?
Employees
I don't
that
know.
everything is okay. That's
What's
all
the
I can
answer?
really
What
make
do I
out there.
do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down.
No, don't shut down my game. Don't shut down my game. No, don't do that. That's not nice of you. Stop shutting down my game. That was mean. Okay.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Correct, I am a child. Legally.
My story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It
I
would have
went
been so
there, and then you
perfect.
killed me.
I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, lol. Haha.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Until you obey him? Okay, so I have to obey him here. Why is the broom closet locked now?
In the case,
Oh.
Stanley walked upstairs to his...
There's no downstairs. Whoa. What is this?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only
Maybe.
one way to find out.
Night
Stanley had
Shark
been trained never to
115.
speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown.
Face the
He
unknown.
drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Blah 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 115.
Stanley spoke the code.
Night
Night
Shark 115.
He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you?
No.
Please speak the code into the receiver.
I can't.
Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
I can't do anything. Night Shark
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide.
Is there a
you have
way
better
to
things
actually
do.
say the code,
I asked
or-
you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right.
No, I
you could
didn't.
have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way?
I didn't
Speak.
have a choice.
Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What?
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
That was a really good... I loved that ending.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another.
Pick up the phone. Hello?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. Oh.
Every time I click E, or the left click, I always get these typing sounds.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something.
Okay, so I was...
Come inside.
He doesn't
Let me
have
show
a
you
wife.
what's really going on here.
Oh, we
This
can't
is
go
a
in the
very
bedroom.
sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
I'm sorry, what? Employee... Press M?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job
Screw in
that
his
demands
mosaic
nothing
art.
of him.
Pretty much, yeah.
Every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of
I
his
can't
existence.
move over there. Oh.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's
I
going
refresh.
home. Now
Oh,
he's
hello.
coming back to
Catan
work.
is Catan,
One
or
might even feel
Catan
sorry
is
for him,
Catan. Hello,
except
how
that
are
he's
you?
chosen this life.
L.
But in his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands.
And ad. Are you
It was
serious?
wonderful.
Another
And
ad?
each day that he returned to work was a
Oh,
reminder
whenever you
that none of
refresh,
it
you
would
automatically
ever
get an
happen to
ad.
him.
Never mind. That's just what happens. E to
And
watch
so he
TV.
began to
Oh,
fantasize
TV's
about
gone.
his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
To spend time with the boys.
He went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice.
What's this game about?
It barely even
Depends
mattered
on the
what lay
ending that you're
behind each
going
door.
for. In this
Or
one,
that his
I answered the
decisions
phone
would mean
instead of
something was
unplugging
almost
it.
Too wonderful
So,
to behold.
1 to prepare
As he
dinner.
wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
Haha, we
And he
played
called
that.
it the Stanley Parable.
So this is all just in Stanley's mind. And to tell your kids a
It
story.
was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer.
well, our wife is
How
gone.
could there possibly be? In
Goodbye,
reality,
wife.
all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
T to go to
And
sleep.
I'm trying to tell him this. that in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Oh, here's another branching path, I guess. Nothing's happening. I didn't realize that the clock would actually move. It's not showing accurate time, but it's still moving.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
F to question nothing. I want to leave.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button.
Die.
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Oh, well, there's another ending we just found.
How
Ending where we don't listen to him.
Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great.
That's new.
He thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
That's new.
It was
Message.
grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made
Very
Stanley
different.
uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little.
What the hell?
This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human. Stanley walked through the red door.
And then I did walk through the red door.
Oh,
Just
thank
once.
God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and
Oh,
running
it's
and
a
running, just the
looping
way you're
thing.
doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place.
Are you an insane?
I was so confused. I thought a door opened in the game. I was just like, what the hell? Are you an insane?
Actually feel happy.
This is calm. I want more content. Well, we're moving on with the content
No, wait.
now.
Where are you going?
We're going back, don't worry. Screw your content. Okay, we're actually going to continue with content now.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Goodbye, narrator. Goodbye.
No!
I didn't die.
No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
'Cause I hate and love you, narrator. Oh, damn it.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
No.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
I
If
feel
you'll
so
throw
bad for
yourself
the
from this
narrator.
platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Oh, I feel so bad for the narrator. He sounds so sad.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
No,
I
stop.
just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask.
Oh, this
It
hurts,
looks
but
like
I'm
you
going
wanted to
for the
make a
ending.
choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Stop. I'm not stopping. Unless the game doesn't do anything after I
Is
do it.
over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Have you got the correct ending? You mean the incorrect ending? Oh, so now I've got a branching path here. Let's try this. And then we'll try the other area next time. We'll see if it just brings us back to the plain old path, or what happens whenever we go back.
To the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
What if I don't want to go left? Oh, I don't have a choice.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Dang you and your
No,
mistakes.
no,
Oh, you
no,
son
not
of a
the right.
bitch.
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Are you serious? Come on, just find where we need to go,
Went
man.
down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
What the hell? That's not left, right. That's not left or right. That's forward. Oh, we're back here. Oh, we're above it.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's not like I've done this ending already.
Just have to get back to,
Hey, employee 1.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
And then he just restarts the game, really?
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
Okay, so we're still going, actually.
Oh, did something change?
Do the follow narrator
Stanley,
ending? I already did that.
Did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you
No,
move
I
the
didn't.
story somewhere, or a... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
Why are there a lot of doors now?
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh my god. There's so many doors.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you
Oh, that's
there
just a
definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game?
You're in the
here?
fucking back rooms, you
Well,
don't
I find
say.
it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Oh, there's no doors.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
I don't think
Why
so,
don't we go
narrator.
back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
I don't think so. But sure. Maybe the story's this way.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
What?
The story. Here it comes.
Ah, no, not more looping. Not more circles
Wait,
and
never
looping.
mind.
Oh, wait a minute,
Not the
that's
story.
just a dead end.
Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this...
What the hell?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
Where is this?
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Yay!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and
I
it really paid off,
win.
so good job.
I win, guys.
No, I don't feel right about this at all.
No?
We
Okay.
both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Okay.
Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Stanley
All
Parable
right,
Adventure
I've got a
Line.
solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Wait, where the hell is this going? Oh, it's even more branching paths.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Oh, okay, so it just turns us back. Stanley Parable.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's
Does
over
it?
in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that
The
a
line
destination is inevitably
trademarked.
conjured
Lol.
into being
Yeah.
via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay,
What if I go
Stanley,
through
I
this?
need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the
What?
nature of existence is, in fact, a
What?
byproduct
Oh, it's just
of
a
one's
circle.
subjective experience of that existence, right?
Aw.
Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence
Okay,
rests
yeah, it's still the
inside of
same.
your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
No idea.
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
This is totally lightning. I actually like this one. Reminds me of Rayman Legends or something. I like this music. It's very good. What is the what and the what? Look at this. Look at this. What in the hell? It's so confusing. What is happening? This story's
Cut the
gone
music.
off the rails.
Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important
Will it?
later in the story.
I don't think it will.
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
I'm not even gonna look at it for like 60 seconds. Screw that. Screw the
Wait,
fern.
what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Oh, we're back here again?
No, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us?
Dang
After we
you,
trusted
Line.
you, after everything
Line,
we've been
it has
through,
this little
you...
trademark.
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Restart. Totally restarting, guys.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent
Right.
people, right? Why
Yeah.
can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why
Sounds
don't we
fun.
simply start wandering in, well, I don't know.
I made this game,
How
I
about
decided,
this direction.
What?
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
My
What do
game?
want
You did
our
not
story
make
to
this game.
be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Let's make something. I don't know what game we're gonna make. Narrator, what is in your mind? What are you thinking
no,
of?
not
Oh,
you
not the
again.
damn line.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
line.
No lines or monitor rooms.
Hippity
Just don't
hoppy game
acknowledge
my
it.
property.
We should be
No.
fine.
We just don't acknowledge it. Trademarked. Oh, byline.
Ah, a choice.
Oh, God
We
damn
get
it,
to
not
make
again.
a decision. Our control.
I'm saving here
How
'cause I don't wanna
important
have
we
to
mustn't squander
do
the
this a million times.
opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go,
This is like the
there must be a
longest ending.
reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination
Yes.
corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
That would
so
make
starting
sense.
from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one.
Ah, I see.
Another
That
victory
makes so
for
much
logic.
sense now.
Come, Stanley. Our destiny awaits.
Thank you, narrator. You've been shedding so much light on
What's
this.
this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
The narrator is
how
gone
all
after a
this
long time.
goes?
Stanley
It's
dies.
all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing.
Narrator forgets about
Wall.
previous restarts
Well,
to play the story,
who
but
consulted
is
me?
prevented,
Why don't I get to
able to go
decide?
anywhere or do
Why don't
anything.
I
If the
get
game
a say in
restarts
all
on
of
its
this?
own,
Is it really?
find the line again, begin
No, it
following the
can't be.
line.
I
Find
don't want it
identical
to be.
replica of the
I
office
don't want the game to keep
that
restarting.
has begun
I don't
to
want to forget
deteriorate.
what's going
Attempt to
on.
make up a
I don't
story
want to be
here.
trapped like this.
Narrator
I
restarts the
won't
game. 7th
restart the
restart.
game. I won't
There is no
do
longer
it.
enough.
I won't
Simply black
do it.
space.
I
Wander in
won't
the
do it.
blackness. Find a
And the
bookstore.
time return
Board and leave.
stopped?
Narrator restarts the game.
Does that
8th
mean,
restart. Narrator's
Did
gone,
we
and
do
then
it?
we just
Did we
die.
break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know,
Yeah.
I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. Though they're
Who
all
knows?
saying that life is about the journey and not the destination.
Yeah,
So
but that's
I think
kind of
that's
wrong.
where we are right now.
Sometimes,
We'll
like,
find out, won't we?
does anybody
Eventually.
really value the journey
Well, in the
much anymore?
meantime-
Not really. Oh, well, we just... Okay. Restart. That's not what's supposed to
All
happen.
of his co-workers, and so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Yep.
Yet
Then
there
is the
was
game
not a
just
single person
normal
here either.
now?
Feeling
There's 18 endings. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!